Hey class, it's Mr. Jones. I've created a Prezi presentation um, to kind of go over some nonfiction things that we're going to start really hammering next week, but I wanted to at least introduce you all to some of these terms that we're going to be learning. This is the first time I've shared a Prezi like virtually, so bear with me. I think it should work. We're about to find out. But you can see what we're going to learn is about writer's purpose, audience, and types of nonfiction. Because we're just about, well, we started it like right before Christmas break, and I know that we had an extended break, so a lot of you all might have forgotten a lot that we've done. So I'm going to do this for kind of an introductory power or presentation, but also just as kind of a refresher for you all. Before we start really going into it next week. So let's see if this is going to oblige with me. Okay, so thing about Prezi is I filled up all these Post-it notes with things. I guess I just click them. Cool. Okay. So regardless of what you're doing, it generally has a purpose behind it. The same is true for writers. Think about it like this. I'm creating this video for a purpose to kind of inform you all. Think about, everything you do in life has a purpose. And it's the same thing, like I said, the same is true for writers. Okay, so now what? Oh, I got it. Okay. Like I said, sorry, you guys are going to have to bear with me a little bit. So everything in life has a purpose. Anything you read has a purpose. Think about it. Newspaper articles, novels, video game manuals, recipes, they all have a purpose. Even what I'm typing in this presentation has a purpose. So we can kind of assume that I'm kind of leading towards author's purpose. So pie, yes, I'm talking about, it's spelt like actual pie, the things you eat, not the mathematical pie. But sadly, I can't send pie home with you all virtually. But I'm sure you all have all heard the acronym PIE when it relates to author's purpose. A lot of teachers generally teach it as PIE, P, where P stands for persuade, I stands for inform, and E stands for entertain. But all of that depends on the teacher, because some teachers classify, describe, and explain as author purpose, which I could see it, but at the same time, I think that falls more. I think that aligns with the inform part. So we're just going to roll with PIE. So biggest thing, you all, P stands for persuade, I stands for inform, E stands for explain. Okay. So persuade. Persuasion is trying to convince somebody to think a certain way or act a certain way. There are many things you try to persuade others to do, sometimes without even thinking about it. Where to go eat, whenever you have that discussion with your family, your friends. Hey, where you want to go eat at? And then it turns into a debate, and then you try to persuade, well, I really want McDonald's, or I really want Wendy's or Casa or something. What movie or TV show to watch, whenever you get on Netflix and you just finish maybe a real good TV series that you really liked, and you're with a friend or something, and they're like, well, you want to watch something? And you want to watch The Office, but it's not on Netflix anymore. So you try to persuade somebody or your friend or whoever to maybe go off TV streaming and see if The Office is on cable, or maybe you want to watch something else. But all that's irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that we're just trying to persuade people, whether sometimes we don't even know it or not. What team to root for. That one's a big one, especially whenever it comes to, college basketball in this state. You see persuasion in persuasive or argumentative essays, but this is not the only place you'll find it. This is not the only place you'll find it. Good speakers and writers can attempt to persuade you sometimes without you even noticing. That's kind of a trait of good speakers or good writers, is you're getting persuaded, but at the same time, you don't really feel like you're getting persuaded. But when we get into rhetorical devices, which we'll get into in about 2 weeks maybe, we'll come back to this point. And I'll show you all some examples of what I'm talking about. Inform, the I part of PI. To inform is to tell somebody or make them known of facts and other information. You can find writings intended to inform in different formats and in different publications. Think about magazine articles, newspaper articles, editorials, research papers. What are they trying to do to the reader? Tell us about something or inform us. Right now I'm trying to inform you all of author's purpose. And the E of PI stands for entertain. Writing for entertainment purposes is to try and amuse the reader in one way or another. Basically something the readers can enjoy. Novel authors write for entertainment because they're trying to bring joy and amusement to their readers. Entertainment can come in any literary genre because different people find different topics enjoyable. What I might find enjoyable, about 99% of the world might not find enjoyable because I'm weird. And same can go for about anybody because we're all unique in our own ways. Poets usually write for entertainment or to convey a specific message. It is just all dependent upon who the poet is and, maybe how skilled they are in their poetry writing, things along those lines. But as with anything, once we start getting some more examples of this, it'll make more sense. But I was just kind of introducing y'all to that. So now we know what PI is, so let's go into audience. Proficient writers or speakers of any kind have to be mindful about who their intended audience will be before they perform. For example, a speaker might alter his message for a group of high school students after he performed at a nursing home. So mainly with that example, if you're given the same speech of the same topic at a nursing home and at a high school, you might present it differently because the audience is different. You're going to try to connect with high schoolers whenever you're performing in front of them, but you're going to try to connect with the elderly whenever you're performing at a nursing home. If you're writing about a specific video game or teen TV show, you can assume that the vast majority of your readers are going to be teens. This tells you as a speaker or writer that you will try and make your text connecting to a teenager as opposed to connecting to a 55-year-old or a 60-year-old. As writers or speakers get more experience, they pick up their intended audience will be about everything and make the necessary changes. That doesn't really make sense. Basically, they're just going to alter their presentation or their writing or their speaking points to try and connect to their intended audience in order to attempt to relate to their intended audience, because that's so much about effective writing or effective communication. It's just being able to relate to your audience. And I'll give you all some good examples of this. Like I said, whenever we start going into examples next week, and especially in rhetorical advices, whenever we start that. So types of nonfiction. There's all kinds of different types of nonfiction. Biographical books, autobiographical books, journals, dictionaries. I can go on and on. But the three main ones I want to go over that I need you all to understand are essays, articles, and speeches. And this is our last little post-it note. Essay, article, and speech. Oh, no, we can't really see that. Oh, no. Let's see if we can figure it out. So an essay is a writing that examines and discusses a focused topic, often including the writer's viewpoints. So you all have written essays before, so you guys kind of have firsthand knowledge on that. An article, on the other hand, is a writing that provides information about a topic, person, or event. So we've all seen a newspaper article. We've all seen magazine articles, and we at least know what they look like. And a speech is written to be read aloud, and it presents a topic and may persuade, inform, explain, and or entertain. Like I said, I just want to give you all the definition of these. There are different types of essays. There are different types of articles. There are different types of speeches, and we'll get into that more later. But I just wanted to kind of introduce you all to the very broad topic, or the very broad term, essay, article, and speech. So I have some questions here, if we can. There it is. So what's the main difference between an article and an essay? So let's go back to these two definitions. An essay is a writing that examines and discusses a focused topic, often including the writer's viewpoints. Whereas an article is a writing that provides information about a topic, person, or event. So they sound very similar except for the very end of essay. essays often includes the writer's viewpoints, whereas an article shouldn't. I say shouldn't because some still do. There's always going to be bias, and you sometimes might find bias in articles. But that should be the main difference between an essay and an article. Is an essay should have the writer's viewpoints in it, as opposed to an article, which should not. And what is the biggest difference between a speech and an article? So this one should be pretty apparent. We went over what an article is, just something that provides us information on a certain topic, person, or event, whereas a speech may do the same thing, but they're presented differently. Generally, an article, or 100% of the time, an article is published in writing, as opposed to a speech, which is read aloud. So that's the only difference between one of the many differences. But a speech and an article, they're kind of the same. They write about, topics, person, events, things along those lines. But an article is in writing and a speech is presented verbally. So that's the main difference between those. And I just wanted to go ahead and introduce you all to this because it's something that we will kind of go into more next week. So like I said, you all, this is just something I wanted to introduce to you all before we get going into it, more in depth next week. I've told my in-person students this week it was hard because we have cert testing and, trying to get back in the swing of, school. So I've been kind of light this week, but next week kind of expect to go more into what it was like, before the break, where it's a little more faster pace, more assignments. So be ready for that. Remember, we're going to, like I said, hammer this a little more next week. So be ready for that. And last thing, virtual students, do not forget that Monday is Martin Luther King Day. So we will not have school, no virtual school. So I hope you all have a great 30-day weekend. And as always, if there's any questions you have over this presentation, or if you have about, anything, it could be my class, it could be about another class, it could be regarding anything. Just shoot me an email. I'll be glad to try to help you all in any way I can. Like I said, hope you all have a great, relaxing 30-day weekend. And if you need anything at all, just shoot me an email. Thanks for watching.